Disney+Pals.
Oh, what was that? What is that noise?
It was just Jack just bringing his computer closer, like.
Oh yeah, just move the laptop across the desk.
Oh, I had no idea what that was. I thought that was like at a farm or something.
I thought it came from Callum's mouth.
The second one did, and the third one did, and the fourth one.
They all sounded the same.
I
Callum
know,
finished
it's
that
fair.
perfectly.
Shut up. You and four.
Gee, how are you doing that?
Let me guess. It's really just coming from him again, Jack again.
Yeah, I'm just shoving my laptop back and forth across the desk. Yeah.
I speak laptop shuffling.
So
It's a very nuanced language.
there's a bit of comedy before we begin, and now let's begin.
Oh, yep. Hey, everybody, and welcome to Callum Mimics the Sound of Dragging Laptops, the podcast. I am Dr. Neiltopus. I am joined by Brooks. I am joined by Callum, and I am joined by Jax of all trades. We have just watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I just
Episode
watched
5?
it.
Did you just watch it?
Yeah, just watch it. I was kind of off track today, and then I just recently watched it before the video start.
It depends on what you mean by just watched it. You mean like just before we recorded, or this morning
Yeah,
as we
like-
got up?
20
Oh,
minutes.
no.
20 minutes.
No, I feel you. Like, I have this tradition of staying up all night till 3 a.m. and watching the episode, so it's actually been a
Dude,
while
you
since
need to
I've seen it.
sleep.
Nah, man. Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's more
I know
important.
you're dedicated, but you need your beauty sleep.
No, I don't need beauty sleep. I'm already gorgeous.
They always say you're the pretty one, Neil. So this is episode 5 of Falcon and Winter Soldier, and this is an hour-long episode. Yeah, these shows could do with hour-long episodes like this when they reach their conclusion. I wish WandaVision did that.
I mean, yeah, you would have given the story a little more time. I still like WandaVision, but I do think I like Falcon and Winter Soldier better. I think I admitted that last episode.
I loved the last session, actually.
Yeah, good fun. Which reminds me, actually,
That's
before we get into this episode, Brooks, just wondering, do you want to say your piece? Any thoughts about last week's episode? Because you weren't here for the recording.
well,
if there's anything you want to tell the audience
last
at
week's
home.
episode, well, it was, I kind of left speechless after that episode, but at the same time, I did have something to say. I just say that I knew that wasn't Cap. I knew that something was wrong with him, and that he's kind of getting what he deserves, which goes into this episode, because I feel like that it really should have been, but I'm not saying that, gives a try at the Shield, and which in this episode that he's finally in the trailer, he's finally getting a shot at the Shield.
Nice.
Yeah, I agree with you. Weirdly enough, ever since the last episode, at least this time around, people seem to be finally giving Wyatt Russell the praise he deserves.
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
the man is playing an amazing character. Like, he's supposed to be a villain, and he's doing it perfectly. Like, I want everybody to remember back in the days of, like, Malekith from Dark World.
What are you saying against Christopher Eccleston? What?
He's the Doctor.
And don't forget the Naked Doctor. That scarred me for the
Hey,
rest of my
look.
life. I mean, seriously,
All I'm
what the
saying
fuck are
is,
they doing?
I'm just saying there is a lot of things, villain-wise, that Marvel has done wrong. And here, like, say what you want about John Walker, like, he's obviously no Loki and he's no Thanos. But I'm going to remember this dude. I'm going to remember him standing over the guy with the bloody shield.
Yeah,
I'm going to remember that iconic pose of Captain America's shield on the ground in front of him forever being tainted by John Walker.
It's like the Watchman symbol, that happy smiley face with that one blood drop on it. It's something about blood. It's just so striking.
But
Good
I have one
comparison,
thing to
man.
say. Sorry. But when John Walker was being, when he was giving his testimony and he was acting his heart out, I believe that was some of the best acting since Isaiah Bradley's acting. Would you say so?
Who returns in this episode? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that Wyatt Russell is nailing the character. I think he was told, you're going to be an evil version of Captain America, and that's what we're getting. He's relatable. Like, I gotta be real. I don't know what I would do if, like, somebody killed my best friend and I had the power to, like, get revenge. I don't know what I'd do.
But I have one thing to say. It wasn't even the person who killed him. It was Carly, right?
Yeah, but he was like, first of all, the guy he killed is the one who, like, held him back and prevented him from saving Lamar.
Ah.
And also, in the moment, he was so angry at just Flag Smashers in general, I think he didn't care.
Ah.
Which, once again, villain. But
Yeah.
he is relatable, and I like that.
Yeah.
But with that, let's jump into today's episode. Brief synopsis. Sam and Bucky, dealing with the aftermath of the last episode, confront Walker and take back the shield, breaking his arm in the process. Walker is essentially casted out as Captain America, which he does not like. He tells Lamar's family that, he got the guy. He lies to them, but now he feels even more, juiced up to go get Carly. Meanwhile, Batroc the Leaper comes back, teaming up with the Flag Smashers to take down Sam, who are finally going to put together their final attack on this, bureau that's been trying to... What is it they're doing? Are they trying to,
it's kind of like with what's going on last year. They're trying to, give benefit to everyone who got damaged from what happened in the snap.
They're trying to deport all the not quite refugees back to their original countries.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what I think.
That's
that's what
Patch Act vote that they're voting on at the end of this episode.
Well, I thought they were going after the people who cared about the people who got snapped and left everyone else. Isn't that what Carly is going against?
I think that's their main thing, but I think one of the ways they're helping it is we got too many people here. We're gonna have to push some people back. But meanwhile, while the Flag Smashers are attacking them and have teamed up with Batroc the Leaper, obviously, Batroc the Leaper is a supervillain. The Flag Smashers are supervillains. John Walker going super AWOL is totally terrible. What are Falcon and Winter Soldier doing now? They're
bonding.
Yeah, they're having a bromance. They're
Slice of
working
life
on that
episode.
boat.
Nope, they say they're not romancing at all. They're completely in denial of it.
They are bros, whether they know it or not.
Okay.
And also, Bucky gives Falcon a box. What's in the box? What's in the box?
I know what's in the box. I know what's in it.
I've got a fair guess
what's
what's in the box.
in it
Yeah.
But
Unlike
yeah,
FNAF.
after good one with the FNAF reference, Jack. After Falcon has a conversation with Isaiah Bradley, he's feeling a little low. This is probably his lowest moment in the story. He literally gives up his wings.
Flying without wings.
Actually,
At the end, he decides, all right, it's time to go face the Flag Smashers with a little gift from Wakanda that Bucky got when he turned in Zemo, meaning that's probably the last we're going to see of Zemo in this series.
I have one thing to say. If they break Zemo out again... First of all,
Squid, let's jump out of the synopsis and into the thoughts. And, you can go first, Squid.
Okay, but I've always ever since I was a kid, when I used to watch superheroes, I always hated when the villains break out of jail, escape, and then break out of jail, escape, and then break out of jail. I always hated that. And that's why I always wanted the hero to kill the villain, because they don't break out anymore. But now with Zemo, I actually want them to break him out because I want to see him again.
I want you to play mind games with us.
You see, Squid, I actually had the opposite thing as like a cartoon and comic book reader. The villains always come back, and I liked that. So whenever they die in the movies, I would get so pissed off. Like when
waste potential, you know.
Yeah, when Doc Ock died in Spider-Man 2, I was like, "Come on, that's like his main guy."
I get it. But I just hate repetition. I just hated that I saw it so many times.
You were the most logical kid out of the lot of us. You're sitting there like, why doesn't Batman just kill the Joker? That would solve all the problems.
Actually, in Batman Red Hood, he always wanted to kill the Joker, but if he did that, he would be no better than people who killed his parents. But even Jason called him out and said that that's hugely flawed. Even though it's for good reasons, it's hugely flawed.
You do care about me.
I mean, I just like that Zemo is sticking around. And to be fair, like, if Bucky had shot him in the head, that would have felt weird to me because, like, okay, call me nuts. Zemo has been one of the nicest characters this entire series, considering.
Yeah.
Like, he's still angry about what happened with his family, but, like, he literally is like, okay, so, yeah, I'll just pay a bunch of money. I'll fly us everywhere we need to go. I'll help you guys do this, even though I'm a villain and I could easily betray both of you. Literally, every time I leave, I will go somewhere where you can find me. I'll make this easy for you guys.
Wow.
Yeah. And now that it's over, I'm just thinking, what is his mind game here?
One thing to say. When Bucky pulled the trigger and the bullets were out, it said that I can kill you, I would kill you, but I'm not.
Yeah, in my mind, that's him saying, I'm not the Winter Soldier anymore. You were wrong.
He is the White Wolf! Wakanda forever!
He literally says, it looks like I noticed his hand was shaking as he was, like, going to pull the trigger. So in my head, I thought, oh, he's going to put down the gun and not do it. Lo and behold, he was never going to do it. He took the bullets out beforehand. He was in control of the whole situation.
I took it as a bit of a test almost for Zemo as well, where he pulled the trigger and everything. But Zemo didn't do anything to fight back. He just accepted, if you're going to do this, you're going to do this. He wasn't planning 12 steps ahead. He was in the moment, okay, if I die here, I die here. And he was sort of at peace with that.
And before that, he literally says, I've decided not to kill you. And in a way that kind of goes against what we've seen of Zemo so far, because his whole thing has been super soldiers. I take them out. But with Bucky, he's like, no, you're not a bad dude. I've met you. I know you're not a bad dude. You can stick around.
Yeah.
And I like
he's
that.
had time to think about it now, because Sam brought it up last episode. Well, what about Bucky? And I sort of shut down his argument, and he had to stop and think. And now this is the payoff to that. And it also ties in nicely with him previously saying, oh, Steve was the exception to that rule. Which to me is Zemo putting Bucky on the same level as Steve. He respects him that much.
Wow.
And the one line that sort of skyrocketed Zemo, because now I think Zemo might be my favorite MCU villain.
He's up there.
Is the fact that even though technically Bucky just like said, you're going to jail, I'm sending you with the Wakandans, they'll do whatever with you. He doesn't even know that he's going to the RAF yet. He could be going to his death. He looks Bucky in the eyes and says, I took the liberty of crossing out my name in your book. I hold no ill will for you. Consider me, like, pleased. Consider yourself redeemed in my eyes. And I love that. I love that, like, even though this is a bad dude who does bad things, he gave Bucky closure. Like, he was like, it's okay. You can live on. We're separate people. It's all right. And I love just that little moment. And Daniel Bruhl is impressing me all the way. I wish he would have worn the mask again at some point.
Yeah,
You should be thankful that he did. Count your blessings.
true.
Yeah.
They didn't need to have
It's
masks
better
at all
to-
this series, but
But
glad they
the
did.
next time they show that mask, it better look closer to the comics.
It's better to have mask once than never to have mask at all.
But we'll see Zemo again. We're gonna see him again one day.
Oh, we
Put
better.
that on a
I
shirt.
love him. I want Daniel Bruhl back. He nailed
No.
the performance.
What I've heard before
He will
the
be.
show, they said Zemo was boring and uninteresting in Civil War, but now I bet a lot of people are gonna think otherwise. They're gonna think what you guys think. What I think.
Yeah, pretty
I enjoyed
much.
it in Civil War too.
Yeah,
I think the good thing about these shows is there is more time to give to the villains. Like before, we had to focus so much on the heroes, and now we can develop the villains to the point where there are 3, maybe 4 villains in this show.
Hmm.
And with the exception of the Power Broker, all of them are very well developed.
Uh-huh.
I like it.
Yes, Zemo's clearly certainly showing his impact among the MCU community. I recently saw a video showing how Zemo had a bigger impact than Thanos, seeing how he caused a chain event of causing the Avengers to break up, thus giving them a disadvantage and
Oh,
like
Thanos,
Infinity War and whatnot. Yeah.
some Thanos can, So basically, Zemo set it up for Thanos. We discussed this before, and
Unintentionally.
Aye.
Mm.
And thinking about it, his motives in Civil War kind of fit this show as well. Like when he was done with his mission in Civil War, he was done, and he was gonna kill himself if it weren't for the Wakandans. And here, he was done with his mission, and he would have been killed if it weren't for the Wakandans.
I also did. Can you guys hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Yes. hear you.
we can hear you.
Okay, I went out of the call for a second. Something else I like, because I think this is setting up the Thunderbolts a little. The fact that he went to the raft,
Yeah.
Mm.
and we know that Abomination is at the raft. I'm just saying, that's like the Marvel Universe super prison. I think there's going to be a show that literally starts with someone breaking into the raft and breaking out a bunch of villains. Suicide Squad style.
Hey, what about the Enchantress? Is she in the Masters of Evil?
Masters of Evil, yes, sometimes,
Well,
but
what about the
I don't
Thunderbolts?
I don't think she's in the Thunderbolts. I do think Enchantress could theoretically be the villain of Loki, but we'll just have to see.
Oh.
That could be fun.
Yeah, but
Goodbye.
also, what was Enchantress doing before in the MCU? Because wasn't she a big part in the comics?
You can ask
I mean,
that.
I'm with you, Squid. I'm with you. But she currently has no role in the MCU, which to me means maybe they're saving.
And it's kind of that Hela took that place.
Kinda. But back to the episode at hand. We've talked a lot about Bucky. What did we think about Bucky and Sam in general this episode? Like in that intro battle scene.
Oh
I
man.
think
Or
that
when they
it's kind of
were-
satisfying.
When they were
that-
fixing the boat, or when Bucky was weirdly flirting with Sam's sister, and I was kind of into it.
Yeah.
Like,
Hang on. With that battle scene in the beginning, it's kind of that Bucky is accepting Sam as he could be Captain America by giving giving Sam the shield.
Right.
I think Bucky believes in Sam a lot more than we realize, because, like, literally, we had that scene last episode where it was like, I'm not going to let you destroy the shield. I'll take it before I let you do that. And then that moment when he drops it with Sam, he's like, Steve chose you. You know what's best to do with this thing. And he just drops it next to him.
That introduction in general, however, that was an amazing way to start off the episode. It's not-
Yeah.
Right after that pinnacle scene from the previous episode, there's a lot of drama centered around that he should just put the shield down, but John's still not going to accept it. So Sam and Bucky have to work together. It's an intense fight, which results in John breaking his arm. There's drama about who should own the shield. They walk away. Then we get the title, and I think to myself, boom! That's how you start an episode.
Yeah, it's kind of like next to Pulp Fiction, how to start something.
Or even, in context of the show, how they started off with Zemo escaping the prison. It's like you get the scene, you get the info, and it's exciting. It gets you hooked in, and then boom, intro. Yes. And as for the sequence of them going to the boats, I mean, on the one hand, one could find it mildly odd that they're taking a break from their top mission to hunt down the Stormbreaker, but I appreciate them.
It's the
Stormbreaker is
the power broker.
Flag Smasher.
Flag Smasher. Flag Smasher. Power Breaker. Political intruder. Evil doer. That bad guy.
Smashers. They're a whole group, you fool.
Freckle face.
Carly.
Carly Morgenthau. Memphis Ness.
How are you continuing to say it?
Yeah. Anyway, that's what I was trying to say. I appreciate them going to Sam's home and fixing up the boat like Forrest Gump style, and laying back with the family and taking a good, well-earned break, if you ask me. And followed by Sam getting adjusted to the shield.
I had a Batman v Superman moment during the boat scene, because I remember he's looking to Sam's sister and she's like, "Hi, my name's Sarah," and I was like, "Wait a minute."
Yeah, I had that same moment.
That? And then I had a flashback to Captain America's Civil War, where Cap is like, "Bucky, do you remember me?" And Bucky just goes, "Your mom's name is Sarah."
Oh my god!
Same here.
This is a weird moment.
Marvel getting from DC now?
Honestly, part of me wonders if that is a very subtle jab at DC.
No way. With DC in that film and in the cinema, I was mind blown. How did I never realize that they both had their mums would have the same first name? But that was in the comics for years and years before that film brought it to at least my attention. And here, I did immediately. I didn't put it together. Here,
Dave, Sarah.
I didn't put it together until hearing Bucky say the name Sarah. Yeah, it's like, oh, that was Steve's mom's name as well. But I don't think that was meant to be a jab at DC.
Sarah!
Why did you say a name?
It weirdly draws attention to me. Why did Bucky know Steve's mom's name and not his name?
Do you remember me? Oh yes, you're Steve Rogers, the guy who my mission was to kill. Remembering more of his backstory.
Of course, everyone knew.
You're Steve. You're my best friend. No, but your mom. Your
used
mom.
But no, it's something
newspapers
personal
for shoes,
about
yeah.
because everyone knows that Steve Rogers is Captain America, but no one knew about his mom's name. Huh?
All right, that's true. He gave a piece of information that only Bucky would know.
Yeah, he says that first, but then he goes on, like I said, the newspaper and the shoes. He says a few things to sort of, I'm me again, I'm lucid.
But I'm wanting to say, can we get to Isaiah right now?
Well, we'll get to Isaiah in a second, but first, if we could go back to that fight at the beginning. I adore that fight. I think I specifically love that this is like literally Sam facing his demons. Like, this is because technically, the reason John Walker is a thing, the reason that the shield is in the hands of somebody who is not necessarily a good dude, is because Sam ran away from it. And in this moment, he is literally fighting his demons. Like, he's literally correcting the mistake he made.
Oh, yeah.
And I love that. Where, like, he takes the shield, the wings get pulled off, meaning he literally has to lose his persona of the Falcon in order to get the shield back.
That's a shame. No more awesome fight sequences.
But
I know he's totally
We'll
getting
see,
another
we'll
pair. of
see.
wings.
hopefully, I think it's either new wings or something.
Yeah.
I think
You
he's
know-
getting vibranium wings, but we'll see.
Yeah,
Right.
vibranium.
It's funny you mentioned
Also,
that.
red and blue and white covered vibranium wings. That's my
Hey, yeah. When I was watching that fight scene, actually, it's funny. It's good that you mentioned that, Neil. It's just that I remember watching the fight scene, and subconsciously I was thinking, how surreal. Sam and Bucky are fighting Captain America. So it's kind of weird when you think
But
about it.
except
Yeah.
it's not Steve, so it's not their friend because it's not weird at all because this is a false.
Yeah, but
Captain
it isn't Steve, but that is his shield covered in blood.
yes,
And it is a man with the name Captain America. It really speaks. I think it really relates to Sam's character in the sense that if he would have had the shield this whole time, none of this would have happened.
Or he could have been an agent of the government and probably could have been,
I doubt it.
But here's the thing: it also kind of relates to Isaiah. No, I mean Isaiah.
I'd say
Aizawa! Are you
this
My
feels
Hero
like in a My Hero
Academia?
Academia.
But kind of that blood of the American shield kind of shows, Isaiah's viewpoint of America.
How do you figure? Oh, that it's got a bloody history.
Yes, and also of how it's become.
Yeah, I agree. I think that whole conversation with Isaiah is probably my favorite part of the episode. I know we were promised a crying moment this episode, and while I did not cry, I have so much reverence for the character of Isaiah Bradley and what he represents, to the point where he was just sitting there and he's like, when I got out of jail, my wife was dead. She was gone. She thought I was dead.
I was like, oh my god.
It gets worse.
I was like you. I did what you're doing right now, and it ruined my life. And nobody who is like us and respects what we have been through will carry that shield.
It gets
And
worse.
Sam has to stand up to him and be like, no, I can carry the shield. And I can't wait to see that standing up in the next episode. But
Can I say what
How much is
Isaiah
it, Callum?
says, at the end?
how much worse is it, Cal?
Yeah, apparently, speaking of said wife, the wife wrote letters to him. Letters which he never received.
Oh, yeah. A nurse put him in a box and eventually gave them to him. And it's heartbreaking. This guy could have been a hero. And by all accounts, was a hero.
He was.
He
was
did
a
everything a hero would do.
But in this government still screwed him over.
Ain't that just the way?
And you know what? America would never make a black man Captain America.
It is a powerful line to hear. And
Very
I think
controversial thing to say, but it's bold to say it.
here's the thing. I think that the fact that Isaiah is the one saying it after everything he's been through, America would never let a black man be Captain America. I think there is some truth to what he's saying, and it is a truth in the MCU that I don't think we see a lot. And I love that they are asking these questions, like, would the world be okay with this? Would our world be okay with this? And we've seen so much of a different side of the MCU here, a darker side, honestly, that is so real, and it just grabs my attention every time and makes me fall in love with this thing. Jack,
yeah.
do you have anything you liked about this episode?
A few things. When we were talking about the opening fight scene, great. Yeah, it reminds me of the Zemo prison break at the start. It's sort of dealing with where the last episode left off right at the beginning. because we said in last week's recording, well, at least I did, that there's so much to cover in these last 2 episodes. I don't know how they're going to manage it all. But they dealt with getting the shield back. They dealt with Zemo. Those are sort of 2 of the biggest things. So they dealt with those pretty quickly, and I was fully satisfied with both resolutions. Well done.
I mean, I feel like the action scene, like when we were predicting what's going to happen in the next episode, none of us said, well, Falcon and Bucky are just going to take the shield from him. But in hindsight, it's so obvious. Like, after what he did, of course they walked up. Like, we were talking about they're going to destroy that shield. They're going to, like, remake the shield. Of course they're just going to take it.
Yeah, I heard people talking online about, oh, maybe the US government's going to take it back from Walker, they'll like confiscate it and stuff.
No, my idea with forming it into 2 shields and making cool things out of it, never happened.
I'm still counting a win for me when I said that they'd melt it down and reforge it into wings for Falcon, because he's still getting vibranium wings. I'm still taking that as a win.
It has to be red, white, and blue, because it's kind of has to prove Isaiah wrong that there can be a black Captain America.
I mean,
Midoriya.
The color of the wings doesn't
Up
matter.
in this
Still
show.
got the shield.
I mean, I think the fact that he's still carrying the shield is part of, once again, the whole demons thing. Like, literally, it's okay, because it's something you did, Sam. You didn't take responsibility for the shield. You ran away. The legacy has been trampled a little bit, but you are still the rightful owner of the shield. Steve Rogers said you were the best choice to wield this, and you need to prove that now. And I hope in the next episode we can see just how great Captain America will be, because honestly, if you watch the episode, Sam is already ready to be Captain America. A lot of people have been saying, oh, they're not building it up. It doesn't feel like he's Captain America yet.
But he's kind of proving it this whole time. And actually, I have one thing to say. I've liked Sam better as the show's gone. With how you've been with Bucky, it's kind of me with Sam with this show.
Mm-hmm. Well, look at Sam talking to Carly and just being like, hey, I agree with you, but I can't agree with your methods. And she double takes. He talks to Zemo and he's like, okay, what about Bucky? He's being like very kind, truthful with him. And yeah, and with Bucky, he talks to Bucky too, and even Bucky like gets a speech from Captain America here. And I think the biggest example of Sam is ready to be Captain America is he looks to John Walker, who Bucky is just ready to kick this guy's ass and take the shield. And he says, listen, you did it in the heat of the moment. We can talk to some people. We can get you some help. And even then, he's looking into the eyes of an enemy and saying, let me help you. That is 100% a superhero move. And I think he's already worthy. To anybody who says Sam's not ready to take the shield, frankly, I think he might be able to lift Thor's hammer.
That was what I was going to say. You stole my thunder, literally.
Ah!
I was going to say that.
Nice. Good pun. No, I agree. I think, like, as a character and everything, he was 100% ready for it. But I still enjoy that we got the little training montage of throwing it and catching it and ducking to dodge it and stuff. Training to get good and dexterous with the shield as well.
I think even though it's slower, you need that fishing boat scene.
Oh.
Because you really need just these 2 characters that are clearly friends, in denial about it, but clearly friends, to just sit down and be real people. I have been advertising from the very beginning. The reason why I like this show so much is because it's so human. Some of the scenes in this are the most human Marvel has ever gotten. Like that scene with Isaiah, that is harsh, true reality of someone that history literally forgot. And that is heartbreaking. But yeah, we did get a cameo this episode.
Where was the cameo?
Yeah, but what was the camera?
Okay, can I talk on this quickly?
Go ahead.
Callum, Squid, yeah, my thoughts exactly. When the episode was going, the moment those high heels came clacking down the corridor, I'm like, okay, this will be the cameo. This will be the cameo. I know now who it is. Thank you, IMDb. But as someone who didn't vehemently obsess over Seinfeld at any point in my life,
I knew the actress, but I just didn't know the comic book character. It was a person Seinfeld, and I did see her on Arrested Development though. But I know I forgot the actress's name, but I do know the actress.
The way she was talking, it's like, okay, so this is some sort of comedian. It felt very in your face to me. It was very, oh yes, here's my name. Well, actually, it's this. Well, actually, it's this. Don't call me that. Let me sit down. Let me just insert myself into it. That seems to be the angle they're taking this character. I look forward to seeing where they go with it. But it felt very forced to me, and I didn't really enjoy it.
Yeah, but Neil, who is this character? Where is she coming from in the comics? Who is she?
Take it away.
Well, her name is super fucking long.
Nice to meet you, Super
Contessa Valencia Algira de Fontaine.
Allegra,
yeah. AKA Val, but don't call me that. So,
don't call her Val. Look, I'm just gonna call her Allegra because I'm pretty sure that's what they call her in the comics. I do know this person, but I want to actually relate to you guys for a minute because for a solid second, I didn't know who she was either. Like for the whole cameo, because she introduces herself as like, you know, her big fucking long name. And she didn't immediately look familiar. I was like, who the hell are you? You've got to be somebody, but who are you? Gave it a Google and I was like, oh yeah, she's her.
That's just Madam something.
She is not Madam. Well, so Allegra is essentially the betrayer of betrayers. This lady in the comics
Oh shit.
is a double agent of double agents of double agents. She started off as a SHIELD agent, where she not only worked with Nick Fury, but kind of had a romance with him.
What?
And what ended up happening was she eventually betrayed SHIELD and revealed herself, like she betrayed them for another organization. Then she betrayed that organization for Hydra. And then she betrayed Hydra for another thing. This lady has no loyalties. She is a master spy. And in my head, when she was like acting that way for John Walker, I want to say that is specifically how she chose to like go for John Walker. Like she probably thought, what personality would he be receptive to? Or maybe think less of me if I did. That way I'm not a threat. That card she gave him, I wouldn't be surprised if she is working with Thunderbolt Ross on Thunderbolts.
And then she betrays him, and then who does she
yeah, guys, if they do not have this character at least do 3 betrayals, it is not a good adaptation of the character.
No, but what organizations are left? Hydra's gone, AIM is gone, and what's left? SHIELD is gone, and there's only
Is Hydra gone?
That's the thing.
She becomes Madam Hydra at one point, which is essentially like the leader of Hydra.
Yeah.
That role
I betrayed you all! Hydra was alive all along!
Well, that role was originally held by Viper, who you would actually know, Squid. She is Baron von Strucker's sidekick in Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Yes.
So,
this
I
betrayer
wonder. Well, what was that, Cal?
This betrayer character, she wasn't in any of the previous installations of the MCU, was she?
No.
No.
Double
But
checking.
also, yes. Here's the thing. Today, an article came out. Apparently, this character, Allegra, is going to be in Black Widow and was supposed to be in Black Widow before this came out.
Okay.
So canonically, she's been in the MCU already, but we haven't seen Black Widow yet, so we don't know that.
Okay. Cool.
Wait, Black Widow takes place in Civil War, like after Civil War, right?
Yes. Apparently. We haven't seen it yet. We don't know.
There are confirmed flashbacks to a younger Red Guardian, so, you know,
Wait,
it's probably going to be...
the Russian Captain America?
Yeah, they're doing Red Guardian.
Yeah, I'm just asking. I know. I've seen from the, trailers.
Captain America. Captain Russia.
So, wait.
Red Guardian.
Is Russian Captain America with Hydra or the Soviets?
He's with Russia.
Is this Russian Captain America? Like, I gotta be real. My friend Skylar knows a lot about Red Guardian. I do not. All I knew is that he was, like, in a bunch of comics. Like, I know how the character acts and stuff. Don't know his origin story, so it's gonna be cool to see in Black Widow.
He's so
But yeah,
bad.
this character was supposed to be set up.
Cool.
So we
Blame
know,
COVID.
we know that Thunderbolt Ross is in Black Widow. I think we can put the pieces together on what this character's role might have been.
What?
And if I have to give a theory on when she's coming back, I would say the Nick Fury show. Because I think they're going to do a romance thing where it's like, oh yeah, she's Nick Fury's ex-girlfriend.
They're doing a Nick Fury show?
Yeah, they're
Secret Wars.
doing a show?
Yeah, they're doing a Nick Fury show.
We had no idea.
It's
Yeah,
going
I
to
mean,
be
I
him
knew.
and the Skrull Talos.
Bring back
Callum,
Ben
That
Mendelsohn.
does make sense.
Callum,
Fuck.
you and I did a video talking about that.
Right. I remember there was a whole bunch of announcements like Black Widow and the Eternals and all that, but I'm sorry, I don't remember mentioning a Nick Fury show.
I think I mentioned that I liked it because those were the two best parts of Captain Marvel, in my opinion.
Yes.
Yeah. And also Nick Fury in Marvel's chemistry.
Well, I'm curious if, like, maybe this means we'll see, like, Nick Fury back in, like, an actual mission. Like, we'll see him in the field. Maybe the two of them were, like, partners that did develop a romance.
Cool. Yeah.
Did we have any other favorite moments of the episode that we want to talk about? I think Allegra and the Isaiah scene were our answers to the cameo and the cry moment. But I'm curious, like, because I gotta be real, I didn't think Allegra was, like, the best part of the episode or anything.
No.
I thought she was neat. I thought it was okay, but for me, the best part was Isaiah. It was them taking back the shield. It was all the little human elements. So I ask, what was your favorite part of this? And I issue a question to you guys. What are some things in this series that you would like to see in future Marvel products?
Zemo.
Very direct answer. You know what you want.
Yeah.
I have one. I want to see if they experiment on John Walker for the super soldier serum, and then Thunderbolt Ross gets the serum and then becomes Red Hulk.
You have been campaigning for Red Hulk a lot. I hope you are rewarded, because I want Red Hulk too.
Yes, this coming from the person who's been advocating for Hawkeye for some time, need I mind you.
Hey, my battle's over, man. That show is almost done filming.
Nice.
All right.
But I think what I would like to see, speaking of Hawkeye, I think I would just like to see the fearlessness that Falcon and Winter Soldier has. The willingness to dive into these heavier topics. Like, I think we can all agree that Loki is going to be a really fun, really trippy travel through time.
You know, the usual Marvel stuff.
I don't know if it's necessarily going to hit the harder points that this show keeps hitting. And I feel like well, I think that if they keep carrying this like sort of darker side, like you even brought it up before, Squid, that everyone thinks DC is like darker than Marvel. I think with this show that couldn't be farther from the truth. I think this show is constantly dark.
I mean, DC is a lot visually darker and harder to see, I grant you. But
Marvel can be gray. Marvel can be gray.
Darkness!
There is literally a villain named Darkseid.
Yeah, Darkseid.
We'll save the Marvel v DC debate for a later video.
You know, we can make a podcast about that, you know?
Hey!
I wonder. But I think that if they could just like if they keep having this willingness to talk about real things and to show the characters react to this, because I think the best part of WandaVision, I think the best part of Falcon and Winter Soldier is that we are going deeper into these characters. We are learning how guilty Bucky feels about everything, how far he has come, and how with tears in his eyes he was told by the people of Wakanda, you are free. And that moment hits me. Like, I love learning about these guys to the point where if we just have a moment with like that, with all of these Marvel shows, just a pure moment of humanity and a look into the deeper, real aspects of these characters that we can all relate to, I think that's going to be amazing. Because, like,
I
they were doing that in the movies before, but here it's hitting me so hard.
Hey, to talk about that, you know, I feel like that Martin Scorsese movies, like, a lot of people think that they're the most sophisticated things, like, that they're the most, but I feel like stuff with imagination can be sophisticated too, like this, or anything else. Like, give it a shot, and animation can be just as sophisticated as live action, or animation or live action with it, and imagination can be just as sophisticated as Martin Scorsese's movie or a Godfather movie.
I mean, I suppose in that regards, you could always make like a popcorn gangster flick. I mean, that's possible. I mean, people are still hailing like superhero movies like The Dark Knight. It's like a great like philosophical masterpiece. So hey, I mean, it's possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but that didn't have imagination though. That was fully grounded.
They flip a truck. Don't tell me that took no imagination.
I mean,
they blow
not
up
like
a hospital,
like spreading fire out of your hand.
You saw a clown burning a massive throne of money.
But yeah, that was such a cool scene. Yeah, anyone can be the Joker, and I think that was the point.
And everyone loses their minds.
But
I mean, it has imagination, but like a huge imagination.
I think I get what you're saying here, man. I think I get what you're saying. Martin Scorsese in the past was like, oh yeah, Marvel movies are just they're just theme park movies. They're just there to make you feel good, and they're not real movies.
That's what Godzilla vs. Kong was.
Stop firing shots at other people's films.
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with those movies, but I understand that, like, you know, Marty has been sassing the Marvel universe, and I don't think there's anything wrong with Martin Scorsese or anything.
No.
But I feel like this show, to tie it all back together, is the argument. This show shows these amazing scenes that if you would have told me 10 years ago that I will see a day where that shield is covered in blood, I would have never believed you.
Actually, it's an anniversary of Captain America the First Avenger. And also, if Martin Scorsese actually watched this episode or this whole series, I guess you would take it all back.
I don't know. I mean, who cares? It's
It's
just
across field, man.
it's one opinion in a sea of opinions, and while I argue opinions are so valuable, it's just like, sometimes you agree, sometimes you disagree, and that doesn't invalidate what he said.
Yeah,
He doesn't like them, and that's okay. With that, man, it feels like there's so much we haven't talked about the episode yet. But
there isn't.
I think it's just because it was a long episode. We just got a lot of scenes got a lot more breathing room. They just took their time more.
Yes.
Well, here's the thing, ladies and gents. Not tomorrow. Next episode, that's the last one. The show is over after that. So here's where it all comes in. We try to solve the mystery of the final episode of Winter Soldier and Falcon. I want you all to look at what has come before, look and tell me, what do you think will come next? What is John Walker's ending? What is Carly's ending? Who dies? Who lives? Who tells your story?
Well, most importantly, Torres now has a pair of bird wings.
Yes. Agreed.
You called it.
I'm glad that you knew this was the most important thing.
I didn't notice that.
Everyone knew that was the most important thing. That was blatant. They focused on that so hard. That was clearly the key point which this entire story is building around.
Arguably the entire MCU itself.
Yeah.
Wait, so we built up the end game?
Now, to be fair, I thought the power broker was going to experiment on him and literally turn him into a half human, half bird. So I'll admit there was some failure on my part, but we got there.
Yeah.
The man's gonna be a bird, and that's what I wanted.
But I hope that's in something else, because this series is too grounded to have a Birdman. Hope he gets, maybe they tease at it at the end.
This is the MCU, right? Yeah.
This is the same MCU that has a talking raccoon.
I know.
Who isn't a raccoon because he's an alien?
To have that.
Squid, welcome to episode 1, where a man with bird wings is fighting people in a helicopter. It's already happened.
I'm not saying I want it to be in this show, but I feel like that it would kind of ruin the groundedness, seriousness, or maybe it could make it better. Who knows?
I will agree with you, though. I don't think it's going to happen in the show. I think it would be really weird if he just shows up with the Falcon wings at the end and is like, yeah, I'm Falcon now.
Post-credit scene. We'll see.
Post-credit scene where the power broker kidnaps him and turns him into a bird. It could still happen.
Oh, speaking of a post-credit scene, there was a credit scene in this where John Walker was forging his own shield from metals and
he's making his Captain America cosplay. We respect that.
Yeah.
I think
Cal, piggybacking off of that, what do you think will be John Walker's ending in the next episode, and how do you think the next episode is going to go? I'm curious to get your take.
Okay, so we've seen John Walker as an anxious yet willing replacement for Captain America, only for that to go drastically wrong and then be stripped off of that position by the army, taken to a low position. So now here he is, forging a shield. He seems to not have let go of the fact that he was Captain America for some time. And he's still got that super serum strength in him, despite having his arm getting broken off. So my guess is that, to quote Master Chief, he's finishing the fight. Except he's doing it in a rather malicious way. I would assume he's going to have tinfoil hat, or something akin to that.
Tinfoil shield.
Tinfoil shield. Sorry.
He's just literally wearing a Party City Halloween costume of Captain America.
It works for Miles Morales, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Goes charging in Leroy Jenkins style or something like that. He's gonna I don't know what he's got in his mind, but whatever it is, there's no doubt that it's rather sporadic. But he has served in the army for some time, so there's going to be some strategy behind it, whatever it is he's up to. So I would guess that. Oh yeah, the Flag Smashers, they got together through this social app, and yeah, I'm calling it that because that's what it is.
Yeah.
They're gonna charge into a building before a vote comes in, kind of relevant for the UK. Yeah, you see what I did there, Jack. I think John Walker's gonna barge in there. He's gonna hack off a few. Well, at least he plans to kill off a few of these Flag Smashers. He's probably gonna try to kill Carly. He's probably gonna interrogate people. Where's your head honcho? That who has not been revealed yet. Unless it's someone who was right with them the whole time, like one of the random side ones, like it could be that French guy, it could be that one person who was traveling with Carly. It could be anybody, but I think that's what he's planning on doing.
Cal, you actually reminded me of something. We got Sharon Carter in this episode.
Yeah.
And she was
Maybe
talking
she
to
Totally
someone.
the power broker.
Well, she was talking to
not.
someone who was speaking French. So
Oh,
I actually
Did you guys
don't
watch it with
think-
subtitles?
I did not.
Subtitles, it says Batroc.
Oh my god. Okay, so she's working with that.
Yeah.
what?
I knew that he was French, so I was like, that's Batroc the Leaper. I knew it before they showed him. So when they showed him, I knew, yes, Batroc the Leaper. Sorry, I love this character.
My only question for that scene is that he was speaking in French. She wasn't.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
Bilingual.
how
a
does that
little
make
bit of
sense?
Han Solo talking to
Bilingual.
Chewbacca.
Yeah.
There are thousands of people on the face of this planet who speak more than one language. That is
Yeah,
not
I
a
understand
problem.
what Cal's saying, though, where it's like they weren't speaking in the same language to each other, and that's a little weird. But, it's no biggie.
Yeah. When he's talking with Carly in the park later, he talks in French, she answers in English, then she talks in French, and he answers in English.
It's like a switch off.
I heard that same weird problem with Star Wars, but anyway, going back on topic.
So, what do you think the actual goal of Batroc is? Is he just there to kill Falcon, or do you think he's going to try to kidnap Carly?
I don't know. All I know is that he spoke to some woman in an art museum and then handed over some equipment to Carly. That's all I know about him so far.
I mean,
He says that he wants to kill Sam. I think that's just what it's going to be. If he was going to kidnap Carly, he should have done it there rather than waiting until they break into some secure government facility.
why would Sharon want Sam dead?
Yeah, that's
She's
the
doing her own
question.
thing.
I get that she's doing her own thing, but she had Sam, Sam slept in her house, didn't he? She could have shot him.
And with Zemo and Bucky too.
Well, yeah, but
Really
Zemo
was
wouldn't have
Captain
cared.
America that she. No, it only was Steve that she has the most against because he's the reason that she's in this mess to begin with.
If she
It's her own
is-
choice.
I'm gonna have to get on Jack's side here. I think either she's the power broker, or she's like the right hand man for the power broker.
Yeah.
Look, dude,
We talked about this last week.
she's got to be something.
Yeah.
At this point, she has. Look, Sharon is shady. Is all I'm saying. Shady Sharon over here is pulling all the strings. She's popping up every episode now. Every time she does something shady. I do not trust her. She knows who the power broker is. She is a connection, and I think that's going to be the after credit scene, the reveal of the power broker, and maybe they'll continue to the only way I could think of that this could go into the Captain Marvel show or the Miss Marvel show is maybe the Power Broker is going to be the villain of that. Because Miss Marvel's origin is she gets involved with this thing called Terrigen Mist that turns her into an inhuman, but it turns a lot of people into inhumans. It kind of becomes an epidemic. So because of that, what if Power Broker goes, okay, you won't let me use the super soldier serum? We have this other thing that gives people powers. I'm releasing it to the public. Because I'm trying to think of if Power Broker, because next episode's the last one. So if he shows up and he's like, I'm actually the main villain, that sucks. But if he's actually going to be Miss Marvel's villain, then it makes sense to set him up here.
Yeah, I think that works. You have John and Carly be your villains for this show's climax, and you have Zemo's off at the raft to be used later. The Power Broker exists in the background to be used later. I think that works.
There's been no build-up as to who could the Power Broker be at all. No.
Sharon.
I have one thing to say about Miss Marvel. And I don't think are they going to do Inhumans in the MCU? Because they did it in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Are they going to really do it in the MCU?
Kevin Feige directly refers to her as an Inhuman when he's talking about the show.
Well, remember their failure that was Inhumans?
Oh, I don't want that movie to be canon either.
That doesn't exist. What are you talking about?
It is uncanon, which is great. But yeah, I really, truly, honestly hope that the Power Broker doesn't show up in the next episode. Because if he, she, or they do, I feel like that's going to ruin the show a bit. Because we've been building up Carly, we've been building up John. I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him at all. And I know some people will get mad at me for that. Save him for the after credit scene.
Yeah, I think because we had the big cameo of the series already this episode, I think either we are not going to see the Power Broker, or it's Sharon. It's one of those two.
Sharon all alone!
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Because even I agree, I don't want, if Sharon is the Power Broker, I don't want her getting involved in this fight beyond what she's already done of sending Batroc over to work with Carly. I want it to be in the background. She can manipulate events during Armor Wars or something down the line.
From the perspective of an action scene, we already have a lot. We have two superheroes. One of them is going to be revealed in a brand new costume with new powers using the shield and stuff. We have Batroc, John, all of the Flag Smashers, including Carly. That's 3 villains already.
Yeah.
Maybe just leave it there. Unless you have like some big secret, like, I don't know, unless there's going to be like a CGI character who's, I can't even think of how they would do that, but like, let's say they brought in like Juggernaut or something. Then,
how would that work?
For the sake of argument, let's say they do. Continue.
Yeah, well, if they just brought in like a big bulky character like Juggernaut to like, because I'm trying to think of the escalation of threat. We've already had a bunch of scenes with Batroc losing, John losing, and Carly losing. So I'm trying to think, who's the final fight? Because they wouldn't all team up. John hates Carly. So I'm curious what the final fight's going to be. There has to be a twist here where there is somebody else. And the only thing I could come up with is, well, maybe Madripoor does go to war. And they send in some sort of bulky person as sort of a final boss to tease you of the future. And the only person I could think of who is big, bulky, and has a connection to Madripoor is frickin' Juggernaut. So in my head, I think it's possible Very unlikely, though. I'm just trying to think of
So
how the climax
First
goes.
mutant in the MCU would be Juggernaut.
I'm not saying
This is a
this is a
hypothetical.
perfect
I know.
idea.
I mean, my prediction for this final big fight will be, as was set up, yep, Sam's going to show up with the new Vibranium wing pack and everything and the shield to be the new Captain America. This will be his debut. Bucky's going to come along as well. He'll ring him up and let him know, hey, here's what we're doing. The Flag Smashers are already there, wrecking havoc, doing whatever they're going to try and do. I reckon John Walker will have his US agent homemade Captain America get up, and he's going to go in guns blazing, metaphorically, or even practically, might carry a gun as well, with the goal of killing Carly. I think it's his motivation to be there. So Batroc and Carly will be on the same side. Enemy of my enemy is my friend. He wants to kill Sam. She wants to do whatever she's doing. But Walker's going to come in and interrupt the fight. And then that will be the rogue element we then have to deal with. Because he's already taken the super soldier serum as well. Which makes me think this will be, perhaps if we're going with the Thunderbolts and everyone ending up at the raft, I could see him being sent to the raft at the end of this show. If he comes into this government boardroom meeting trying to kill people, and that's seen by these government officials, they'll be like, oh, he's enhanced, he's clearly still trying to kill people, send him to the raft. I think that'll be the end for his character. Either he's sent to the raft or he dies in this, is my guess is. I think the raft is the more likely of the two.
I agree with you. I think John's going to the raft. I think that with Sam and Carly, I think the ending of Carly's story is Sam in his first act as like Captain America, in his first like super heroic act, he is going to convince her to stop. And he's going to get her to stand down. Meanwhile, I think Bucky will have to fight Batroc. And then Sam has to fight John Walker one-on-one. Maybe that's how we get that climax. Maybe we don't. Maybe we don't need a random big giant person to show up.
Yeah, I don't think we need it because we've already got, like you said, we've got enough antagonists here. But that is a good point of how they'll divvy up the fight and the combat. I'd love to see it's like not necessarily teams because Wyatt Russell John's doing his own thing in this event. But it is a point because in my head I was like, oh yeah, so you'll have Sam fight Carly because that's the logical thing there, and you'll have Sam fighting the new Cap, well, old Cap, John Walker, and you'll have Sam fighting Batroc because he is the new Cap, so it'll harken back to it. But yeah, what's Bucky gonna do? So yeah, you need a better way to divvy it up than what I was thinking.
I mean,
may I?
Oh, go ahead.
Well, since what happened before, but it's going to happen now, maybe Zemo will come into place. Maybe, just maybe, Zemo will have this one last hurrah, and maybe kill the power broker, and and kill Carly.
I mean, I do think it would be unwise to underestimate Zemo. Like, I don't think Zemo's going to kill a ship full of the Dora Milaje.
No.
But it's very possible that Zemo could escape somehow from the prison.
They might be the most fiercest warriors, but he's probably smarter than all of them combined.
They are all tacticians, though. Yeah. And they are prepared for Zemo's trickery.
I think it's more likely...
Maybe like a mind game. Maybe they get both, maybe it'll begin with that, and they'll both have an interesting mind game with each other, and then Zemo will have a challenge.
I think Zemo's mind game, if he has a plan right now, it is to go willingly with them to the raft, because he has... What has he done? He killed the guy who made the super soldier serum.
And
that's it. That's he broke out of prison, I suppose. That's all he's done legally, apart from maybe illegally crossing some borders or something in his jet. So I honestly think if he has a plan right now, it's, I'll go to the raft because that's what they want. but I'll get benefits for being on good behavior.
But
He
don't
might get a
realize
sort
they
of
won't be at the
Wilson
raft.
Fisk role like he had in
Um,
Rikers Island in Daredevil, where he, being the kingpin of crime, worked his way into a position of power within the prison. The raft is clearly more secure as we've seen than that, but I think he's going there willingly for now, and he'll happily take what he's given, ideally being given more than the others who are already there.
I'm with you, Jack. I think he's going to buy his time. I think he's going to go to the prison and be like, you want me to stay here? I'll stay here. I'll wait here until the next threat comes, and then I'll do my heroic deeds. Because you got to remember, Zemo thinks he's the hero. He believes that so purely that literally he can look people in the eyes and be like, yeah, what I'm doing is right. There's never been another Steve Rogers, and I'm going to make sure that there's never another Red Skull.
Jack, I'm sorry for interrupting you, but
I was going to say something, but I completely forgot what I was going to say.
The raft, Zemo, Carly, the final fight.
Next
Mainly the
episode.
Okay.
Alright. I suppose if Zemo were to escape, I mean, at least he's got to see the memorial for Sokovia, which I don't think anybody brought up. But I thought, that's a nice homage.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a snake for escaping, but at least he did it to not do any harm, but just to go to the place where he and his family used to live.
Honestly, Cal, speaking of what you were just saying, the vibe I got, he wanted to get caught. That's sort of the vibe I got. He knew he went where Bucky would look for him.
Yeah. He teed them up for that last episode. He's like, oh yeah, have you guys checked out this place? You guys should go to this place. And then he went there and waited.
Oh yeah. Part of me wonders, what did he do before he got to the memorial? Like, did he contact the power broker or something? I don't know, but I think that Zemo is probably done. That's at least my take.
So I'm probably wrong.
Hey, don't get me wrong. I'd love to see another dance, but not today.
In his cell with his little
But I could be
iPod or
right.
whatever.
Maybe I could be right.
You could potentially be right. Who knows what's going to happen? This is Marvel. You never know what Marvel's going to do. There are rumors of several things that are through the roof with these shows. You know, you hear shit like Mephisto. You hear stuff like all of these predictions, like Sue Storm was going to be the cameo. And I think the reason why everyone is so disappointed when it's not Sue Storm is because it very well could have been. The way Marvel does stories, they can take you for a loop.
You know what? I once thought when I saw that new Marvel show Avengers Assemble and Red Skull was with Thanos, I knew that Red Skull was going to appear again in the MCU. When he went up, when the Tesseract teleported him, I knew it that he teleported somewhere. And then when Thanos met Red Skull, I knew it.
Again, twisty twists.
I knew it.
We have no idea what the MCU is going to do. So because of that, I go into this episode just hoping to be excited. And you know what? I'm ready for Loki. I think we've had two very heartfelt Marvel projects. I think we need one that's just a funny, good time.
A bloody good time.
What a wonderful time. What a wonderful show. Yes.
I think it's good as well, because I think I'd said back at the start of this show that, oh yeah, I was expecting by this point we'd be in the midst of the big final fight, so we'd be left on a cliffhanger. And then, we'll resolve that next episode, and then we'll end off with everyone going back home and dealing with everything. But we already got a fair bit of the back home stuff here, so all that's really left is the big fight. I do think we will still go back to Bucky making amends with the old man whose name I forgot from episode 1. I think we're still going to get that next episode. That'll be the bookend for him. But we had a lot of Sam stuff covered this episode, which is very nice.
Yeah, these episodes are taken in their time, so this episode was definitely justified keeping it an hour long or so. So hopefully this finale will also be an hour long or so. But if not, better keep it concise. Yeah.
I mean, Marvel's back, dude. And after this, like, they're kind of taking a break for the month of May. But
Because the
after
Bad
May,
Batch is coming out, so that's taken the Disney Plus spot.
maybe.
Well, I thought Black
But,
Widow was next month.
No, Black Widow is in June. Or
Mm.
July, I think. June?
I think it was July, right?
Loki's in June. Black Widow must be in July.
Okay.
Loki, huh? It's funny. I keep thinking that Loki would be next week because this show came after WandaVision, or something like that.
Yeah, no, you gotta wait for Loki. They're making you wait for this one.
Okay, so it's Bad Batch after this, right?
That's Star Wars. It's just
Can
another
we
show on Disney
please
Plus.
do a podcast on that?
Maybe. Muhahaha, maybe.
We'll see.
But, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our ratings and final thoughts if we have any. We kind of already did final thoughts, weirdly enough.
I've
But
got a
if you
favorite
have
word to say.
anything more, go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, we talked about all the good stuff. This is my role. It has become on this podcast to talk about things I didn't like.
Oh, Jack, it's okay, man.
There were just a few little story beats I thought were strange choices from a filmmaking standpoint, of like storytelling and to have suspense and things. It makes sense to have them, but they were strange decisions. During the first fight at the start of this episode, Bucky gets hit hard and his arm malfunctions for a bit, just so Sam can have time to fight Walker. So they're like, this thing's made of vibranium. Why did that one hit put him out of commission for like 5 minutes? That strange choice there.
I thought it was gonna be broken though.
Yeah.
Like I was much angrier. So to
I was waiting for
discover
it
it
to
was
be like
just
completely like it came off again after what Wakanda did or something. But no, it was just glitching.
So honestly, I was kind of relieved when it was just a glitch. Gotta be real.
There. Other than strange thing that I'm like, someone should have been prepared for that. We see, okay, yeah, they've cleared out everyone from the GRC, not refugees camp, and everyone's like, oh, where's Carly? Where's Carly? And she and her mates just walk into that place and pick up a stuffed bunny rabbit, talk to each other for a few minutes, then leave. Why was no one on guard there? Why was Sam or Bucky or the US government who are currently in charge of tracking her down? Why was no one checking out her former place of residence, the place they literally were yesterday?
Yeah, I agree. Why weren't there any guards stationed there? That got me too.
They could have been. You could have shot. They were saying like a castle ruins at some point last episode. Have them be literally anywhere else. But it's reusing a set budget. Yeah.
Well, you know what it was? I think they wanted Carly to have a moment where she was like, oh, this is our lowest low. Because she's looking at the freaking toy.
Yeah.
They could have just had her looking at a picture of her friend getting bludgeoned to death by Walker. That would have been enough for that same like sort of story. Like,
it was a good scene. I enjoyed them talking about like how many of us have to die just to be treated as citizens of this planet. Great, really enjoyed that, but why would you go back there?
It was not smart on her part.
Again, cameo didn't quite click for me, but had Black Widow come out, it would have worked, and everyone would have been freaking out there. But no,
it was just set up.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. Honestly, the fact that someone who knew who this character was, didn't know who this character was, shows that they didn't really handle it super well.
I mean, I'm familiar with the name Madam Hydra and stuff. Once a quick check on the Marvel wiki, like Earth 616. Yeah, okay, cool. But no, I think it'll be fun. And we were talking about last time. How is Hydra involved in this at all? I could potentially see her, because it was brought up in episode 1 with Bucky bugging that car and stuff, that he was tracking down people who benefited from him as the Winter Soldier. But yes, S.H.I.E.L.D.'s gone. We mentioned it a few minutes ago. Hydra's potentially still out there. So I wonder if she's recruiting for that, perhaps, or if she is, again, perhaps she already betrayed the Hydra within S.H.I.E.L.D. when she left them as well. Who knows what's going on with this character?
I think we're gonna have to see Black Widow to find out for sure. Part of me still wants to believe that the power broker is Red Skull's daughter, but I guess we'll have to see.
No, he had to be a granddaughter.
It could have been a granddaughter. They could change that.
Yeah.
A grand or maybe father's brother's cousin's nephew's former roommate.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely nothing, which is what you are about to be.
Spaceballs.
I've got two other negatives, and they're both very small. I enjoyed this episode a lot. I thought it was very derivative of the guys in suits go and whisper in each other's ear, "Hail Hydra," at the end of this episode there. It's like, they walk into this GRC meeting, he walks up to a guy, "One people, one world." Yeah, okay. Begin the plan. A little reminiscent of that. And the last thing, why was that building designed to have all the LEDs turn red?
You know that one
Because
That's
it
fine.
looks awesome, Jack.
Oh yeah, it does. I'm sure you can say, "Oh, when a fire alarm goes off or something to get everyone to panic and leave the building, they turn red."
Every building does that. Schools,
Yeah.
hotels, Walmart.
My
all
school
of them.
never had flashing red neon lights, but
Well, no one ever hacked your school, Jack. You never saw them.
true. But no, that last point's just nitpicking. All in all, I really enjoyed this episode. Again, the Isaiah stuff was great. I'm sure that was the cry moment, and I'd be curious. So I'll check out people's reaction videos. I want to see if anyone actually teared up during this. For my score, I think, again, I really liked all the interpersonal character stuff this episode, and there were action beats, and there were good action beats. So I think, did I enjoy this more than last week's? So last week I gave a 7.5. And I feel like I'm gonna give that again. I don't think it was a.
7.5.
It was like, because last week had the big boost of some rather iconic moments and Zemo being great. That's it. This episode, if it had more Zemo, it would be an 8. There we go. 7.5 for me.
I agree with you. I really like this episode too. I do think, like, there were times during the episode, specifically with the intro and then going right into Isaiah and, dude becoming that Falcon, that I was like, oh, this episode's going to be like a 10 out of 10. But then the episode did slow down a little bit and it became more personal, which is something I don't dislike. But it was a little jarring for me. Like, there were like 2 montages in this episode.
Yeah.
There was a montage where they fixed the boat, and there was a montage where Sam trains to be Captain America. Stuff like that took me out of it a little bit. Like, 2 right after each other. But that being said, I did like this episode a lot. I don't think it's bad. There's nothing wrong with it. I think it's great. I love the human aspect of these characters, and it's asking the big questions. And it's giving me a lot of hope for the characters that I want to have just as good shows later on. Like Moon Knight, She-Hulk, or Hawkeye. Anyways, my rating is an 8. I don't think, honestly, this is as good as the last episode. I think it's right there. I think it's almost there. But those things I mentioned did hold it back a little bit for me. So I'm going 8. And honestly, I think this whole series for me, like, I've been giving 8. The lowest thing I gave was a 7.
Yep.
So far, this has been like a great series for me. Cal, how about you? Or Squid, how about you go first?
I'm right up with you. I'm giving an 8.
I think that's a good number. Any final thoughts to support that 8?
Well, all the things I've said, and also the acting and themes. Definitely 8.
All right, Cal, you got any final thoughts and then your rating?
I gave the last episode an 8, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
You did.
I did. And all the previous episodes beforehand, I would either give like a 6 or a 7 or something like that.
6.5, 7.5, 6.5, 8.
Thank you very much. So I did enjoy the series, but it wasn't really picking up much steam until the previous episode and this one, if you ask me. Again, there was nothing wrong. It's just that maybe there could have been a few beats that could have been handled better or something like that. But this episode was definitely great. With everything starting to kick in, should I give it a 7.5 or an 8? I'll just go through it again. So, great action scene at the start, hooked you in from the beginning. Great drama, character building. Zemo was there. Great to see him there. He got a short scene, so Zemo may or may not be in the finale. So a tad bit anticlimactic with such a prolific person like him to leave
Well, here's
up like.
the thing, Cal. Here's the thing that I think you're ignoring. Did you miss the part where Sam gives Torres the wings, and later he will become the Falcon? I think you have to go 8. I think you just have to.
But there's also Isaiah, which also brings a lot of oomph to it, if you know what I mean. Yeah. I think Isaiah did it for me. 8. I think I'm going to give it an 8.
All right. That gives us a 31.5, second highest rated episode.
Oh, dang. What was the first?
Last week.
Oh, of course. Well, that adds up to me. But I guess we have to end on a final question. And this one's actually going to come from one of the comments we got on one of my live streams. Jack has already mentioned this, but, perhaps we could go into a bit more detail. Of all the Marvel shows coming up, what one are you most excited for? Should we get mine out of the way immediately?
Sure.
Should we just throw mine out?
Go for it.
I mean, I've been talking about She-Hulk a lot and my excitement for it, but it's obviously Hawkeye.
Yeah.
There is so much
Well, you're going to do a bait and switch there and say it was going to be She-Hulk.
Yeah.
She-Hulk is number 2. Trust me. But Hawkeye's my character, man. And if they do this right, if they put half of the effort in that they've put into this show, I think everybody's going to be saying he's your favorite Avenger by the end of that. I think there is so much room for that character to grow, and I am so excited for people to see what I see.
Okay. May I go
That's
next?
it. Simple and clean.
Is the way
Okay.
you're making me feel tonight. Yeah.
Wait.
It's hard to let it go.
My favorite, mine I'm excited for is Moon Knight because I've seen him in Infinity Gauntlet. I thought this character's cool, and I've heard of him, and I've heard his backstory. I really want to know more about him in the show, and I really want to know, what he's like. And I heard that he's got a really interesting backstory, and he's a C-list combo character. Maybe this might boost him up to B. And maybe even Darkhawk, another character I've heard, can be in that show.
Well, fun fact, my friend Skylar, who I actually stream and talk about the episodes with almost right after they happen. I even did that yesterday where I was like, who the hell is this lady with the long name? He loves Moon Knight. Moon Knight is his favorite superhero. And when we found out that Oscar Isaacs was going to play him, we flipped out.
I mean, seriously, this guy needs something that actually
Dameron, man.
Success. He needs a success.
I mean, the fan cast was still going to be, was it Keanu Reeves was what everyone was hoping for, but Oscar Isaacs, very strong second choice.
Yes.
And a more realistic one. Keanu's busy with the Matrix. We need to let him do his own thing.
Cal, do you have one you are excited for? Because there are a lot. There's the Rhodey show. There's Ironheart. In fact, you just want to say Young Avengers? I think we have enough evidence to prove Young Avengers are coming.
I honestly have no idea. I mean, these Marvel shows could vary in quality, so I guess I'll take as it comes and to judge the final product, I suppose.
So your answer is the Groot miniseries. Great. I'm glad he is getting a miniseries. That's real.
Oh, cool.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Is
Is it gonna
this
be like a
when he's a
prequel thing,
teenager? Like,
or-
is this like how he grew up from a baby to teenager?
I have no idea.
Any words, or has it just been announced?
The way I would do it is some episodes he's like big Groot, some episodes he's baby Groot. That's how I'd do it. Oh, they're shorts, by the way. They're like comedic shorts.
Oh, cool. Okay.
But Jack, you have answered in a past episode which one you're most looking forward to. Do you want to elaborate on that and maybe choose a second most favorite as well?
I don't remember what I said, but we're assuming that I'm staying consistent here. They are the next two coming out, are the two I'm most looking forward to, because Tom Hiddleston's great as Loki, but What If has really got my interest peaked. I think that's probably the one I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, What If? That's going to be
What
really
if? And it's
actually,
actually Marvel's first animated project. Like that.
Which is going to be cool.
Like the MCU type stuff, yeah.
I know.
But
You
no,
did say Loki in the past episode, Jack.
Okay. I mean, Loki, I think it might just be because we got a second trailer, so we got a bit more footage. I'm like, cool, this looks good, rather than the utter mystery it was before that. But no, I think you can ask me tomorrow, and I'll probably have changed my mind again. But it's between those two. But What If gets my vote right now, because what if?
What
if?
Yeah, we could they'll
I'm
do
with you.
basically whatever they like. We know already. Again, Jeffrey Wright for the voice of the Watcher. Great casting. He's great in Hunger Games and everything. I'm not a huge fan of Hunger Games, but he was great in that as Speedy. And
You know, we
James
already
Bond
saw
and
the
everything,
Watcher in the
but-
MCU and Guardians.
Yes,
saw
saying
one
talking
of
with Stanley, we saw one. Yes, but I
Well,
think
actually,
this is,
3 of them. There's 3.
I'm pretty
Oh,
sure
yeah,
this
you're right.
is Uatu. I'm pretty sure this is our 616
It is Uatu.
Earth.
Confirmed.
Watcher,
it's
yeah.
Uatu.
Nice. Because the Watchers didn't talk in that. But it'd be good to see him. Again, it's going to be Chadwick Boseman's last performance as T'Challa. But Sebastian Stan's still in it. Rob Downey Jr. is reprising as Tony Stark. We're keeping so many of the main MCU cast as voice actors for this that it's going to feel like it's not going to feel out of place. It still fits with the What If parallel universes, but it feels like it still fits with the rest of the MCU.
Nice.
Yeah, I think this was such a smart idea, like What If was, because like they got all the cast members, and everyone's always going to ask those questions.
Yeah,
And-
what if? I asked them
all the time.
When are we
Oh my
seeing
God,
Marvel
Jinx!
zombies? Are we going to get Captain
Yeah.
They literally like they're asking questions I didn't even think of. Like, what if Peggy Carter got the serum? What if? And from one of the trailers, I think this is a thing. There's a shot of like Thor's hammer and an arrow sticking out of the ground beside it. I think we're
Okay.
going to see what if Hawkeye shot and killed Thor before he could pick up the hammer.
But I got one.
That'll be a really fun alternate timeline.
I got
to look
one.
At. Oh.
What if Peter Parker was born a Stark?
What if
Yeah.
Peter? I think the big one that everyone wants, though, whenever people bring up what if, someone mentions this. What if the other half of the universe were the ones who got snapped?
Mhm.
And like Spider-Man and Peter Quill and them didn't.
Oh,
That'd
love
be a
to
really
see
fun
that.
one. That could be like the finale, the final episode, because it is going to be an anthology. That could be the one you end on with this big alternate timeline look at it. Yeah.
okay.
I'd love to see a season 2 for What If. I just hope it keeps going and is this great thing.
Yeah, if enough people watch it, everyone go watch it when it comes out. I'm sure we'll get a season 2. We might not get all the same voice actors back, but we're getting a season 2. Come on.
People will be talking about it on the internet for days.
I think Lego has already there's been leaks of they're doing sets for What If. We're getting a Captain Britain and
awesome.
Steve Rogers
Oh,
as
that's
Iron Man
cool.
net. So I mean, there's already the merchandise lined up for it. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of fun had with those series.
Dude, that hypes me up even more that this thing's gonna get toys.
Yeah.
Because I collect shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're at the end of the episode now. We got to end on a joke.
I did last week. Someone else take this.
Well,
yeah.
okay. Loki and Thor both played rock paper scissors, and then and then Thor got scissors, and Loki got paper, and then Loki got so mad they just turned into a giant snake and just ate Thor.
And then he stabbed him.
There's the punchline. Cool.
With the scissors. Stop him with the scissors.
He stabs him with the scissors.
Yes, I think that was better. That was better. Yeah.
You know, honestly, while you were saying that, and I thought about like making jokes about your jokes, I imagined like all of the Marvel jokes with Stantler and Waldorf from the Muppets like in the corner heckling. Like, I just want a scene where like John Walker bashes his head in with the shield, and then friggin' Stantler and Waldorf are in the corner like, well, that's the most American thing that's ever been in the show. Oh! Good night, everybody. That's the joke.
Good night, everybody.
When Captain America blows his mighty shield and